Hello everybody, welcome back, and if it's your first time, make sure you watch Math Part 1 first, because this video is going to cover the assignments that cover Math 1. So without further ado, let's begin. Hello there everybody, let's work on some of our homework. So this will cover Math 1. This is actually one of your blended assignments if you're in Pharmacy 200. But let's go ahead and start. So medical notation, pharmacy notation, you got to make sure that there are no trailing zeros. So for this one, just leave off the 2 zeros at the end. So you just want to document 27.5 for number 1. For number 2, for any number less than 1, you have to have a 0 in front of the decimal. So for this number, just add a 0 right there, right in front of the decimal. 0.098 for number 2. For number 3, I didn't give you any hints, but from the previous question, you should know that this one, all you gotta do is add a 0. 0.01310007. So you might be asking, why don't I take off these zeros? So these aren't considered trailing zeros. Trailing zeros are only the ones after the final non-zero digit. Number 4, no trailing zeros and 0 in front. So make sure you add in 0 right there. And at the end, you can go ahead and leave off that that 0. So this number should be 0.0031. Number 5, we're just finding the decimal place. So hundreds ends in S, so that's going to be to the left of the decimal. So select the digits in the hundred, the digit that is in the hundreds place for number 5. For number 6, we got hundredths. So here I'm making sure you're looking at the endings and knowing if it's on the left side of the decimal or on the right side. So THS, it's on the right side. So find the number in the hundredths position for number 6. Rounding. So for rounding, we have to identify the digit in question, so the decimal place in question, and then we're going to look to the right. So here we need hundredths. So we got tens, hundreds. The 2 is the number in question. So we need to look at the 6. So we're going to look right here. So since it's between 5 and 9, we're going to round up. So the 2 becomes a 3, 1.53. Everything else becomes a 0, but we won't document that. So for number 7, just enter in 1.53. Number 8, we're going to round to the nearest tens. So 4,99625. So the 9 is in the tens, and we look at the 6, so we'll need to round up. So the 9 becomes a 10. Just remember to carry the 1. So when you carry the 1, this 9 also becomes a 10, and you'll have to carry the 1 to the 4. So your final answer is 5,000. Number 9, how do you convert from fractions to decimal? So anytime you have fraction, decimal, percentage, just make your column, fraction column, decimal column, and percentage column. And for us, we got to figure out where we're starting and where we're ending. So for number 9, going from fraction to decimal, you just take the top number divided by the bottom number. So numerator divided by the denominator. Number 10. How do you convert from percentages to decimal? Percentage to decimal, going back this way, we'll need to divide by 100. And for number 11, how do you convert from decimal to percentage? We're going this way, so we'll need to multiply by 100. Okay, let's practice converting fractions, decimal, and percentages. So just remember what column you're in. You're starting off in fractions, decimal, or percentage, and recognize which column you're ending up into. So here we're converting 2/37 into a decimal, so we're in the fraction column. So just take 2 divided by 37, and that'll give you your decimal. Right? You're going to round to the nearest thousands. So that means I need 3 decimal places. Let's double check. Yep, the thousands. So you'll need 3 decimal places. Two divided by 37. So to the nearest thousands, tens, hundreds, thousands, it'll just be 0.054. In number 13, we found the decimal. Now we'll multiply by 100 to get to the percentage for 13. So here you have your decimal that you found from number 12. All you need to do is multiply by 100, and you don't want to do your rounding until the end. So in 12 you did some rounding, and now you want to start all over and do your rounding at the end. So for number 13, we're rounding to the nearest tens. So the 4 is in the tens position. Make sure you round appropriately. In number 14, we have a decimal. Going from decimal to percentage, you multiply by 100. And round that number to the nearest tens. All right, we have that same decimal, 0.075. And from Math 1, you found the easy way to make a fraction. Just find the digit in the last decimal place. It's a 5. Its decimal place is tens, hundreds, thousands. So you know your bottom number is 1,000, and just put all those digits on top. You can always check your work by dividing. 75 divided by 1,000. And you want to document it as 75/1000. For number 16, we got a percentage. We got to go to decimal first and round to the nearest tens. So 0.0825%, divide by 100, and then do your rounding. So we got 0.0825 divided by 100. So we're rounding to the nearest tenths. The number in the tenths position is this first 0 here. To the right of it is 0. So does it stay at 0, or does it round up to 1? So this one would stay at 0, and you want to document it as just 0 because we want to avoid any trailing zeros. So your answer for 16 is just 0. 17. So we need to change that same decimal into a fraction. So remember, when you're in a percentage, you always have to divide by 100 first. So once you take that percentage and divide it by 100, you get 0.000825. So here we have the tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, 100,000s, millions. So for number 17, it's going to be a million at the bottom. And on top, just put all the digits, 825. And if you're in doubt, just double check. Divide 825 by a million, multiply by 100, and you should end up with your starting percentage value. For number 18, the best strategy to solve these problems are to turn everything into a decimal. So let's go ahead and do that. 1 divided by 100. That'll give you 0.01. And it's easier to compare decimals. Just line up the decimal and we'll see which one is the greatest. 1/1000, tens, hundreds, thousands. 1/5 is 0.2, and 1/10 is 0.1. So the question is asking for the greatest value. So just look down the first column. They're all the same. They're all zeros. And then let's look down the next column. We got 0, 0, 2, and 1. So the largest is going to be the corresponding fraction for 0.2. All right, for 19, they got some really funny numbers. So let's punch these guys in. Same strategy. Turn everything into a decimal and we'll compare. So I'll just keep a few decimal places just in case. Zero 0.1187. 25 divided by 8 1/4. You get 0.0303. And the last one, 3 divided by 16. We get 0.1875. So the question is asking for the greatest value. So we'll look at this first column here. They're all zeros. The second column, we can eliminate this guy. It's a 0. Everything else is a 1. In this third column, we got 2, 1, and 8, and the largest number is the corresponding fraction for 0.1875. Number 20. Lowest value this time. They already gave us the decimal, so that makes it easier for us. So let's take a look at the first column. They're all zeros. The second column, they're all 0. In the third column, we got a 7 and a 9. We can eliminate this guy and this guy. So we're just left with the top choice and the bottom choice. So the next number is 1 or 5. The lowest number, this way. 0.00123. However, in 21, they gave us a mixed bag. So at least we got one decimal, one less fraction to calculate. Let's calculate the other ones. 4 divided by 150. It's going to give us 0.0266. Couple decimal places just in case. 6 divided by 283. 0.0212. And lastly, percentage, all we got to do is divide by 100. So we'll get 0.0205. So we want the lowest. First column, they're all zeros. Second column, they're all zeros. Third column, they're all zeros. This fourth column, well, there's nothing here, but technically it's a 0. So we can eliminate these guys, 6, and this guy 1. So they're all 0. And then this next column, we got 0 or 5. So our lowest value is this guy, the decimal they gave us at the beginning. Oh, that's it. So go ahead, do your first attempt, submit, see how you do, and then take your second attempt. Well, thank you for joining us on your blended assignment, Math 1 assignment. This one happens to be for Farm 200. So let me know how you did with this assignment, and if you have any questions, post them in the comments, email me, or let me know if you're in class, or you can save them for when we meet again in class. Once again, thank you for joining us, and happy learning. Goodbye, everybody. Once you go Fong, you never go wrong.